Konnichiwa, and welcome to my bathroom. We just got back from Japan, the land of the magical butt washing toilets. So naturally, once we arrived home, we had to rush right out and buy one of these mighty Toto C5 washlets, which is the one Wirecutter recommends as the best, and install it here in our bathroom at home. Now, I just finished a video on installing this, so if you're interested in the install process, I'll link it, up here somewhere. But I wanted to make a separate video for those of you who are just interested in how the thing operates and hopefully clarify some of the confusing things in the manual and some of the things that even aren't in the manual that I discovered along the way. Let's talk about it. So this washlet has a surprising number of features. Since I'm an engineer, I like to think of them as, functional units, and they're all defaulted on at the factory. So when you first plug this thing in, it starts whizzing and beeping and things are moving, it's a real circus. But I think I finally sorted my way through that cacophony, and I kind of know what it's doing when it makes these different sounds now. But when you think about it, there's a lot of subsystems here. There's a seat heater, there's a water heater, there's motors and pumps to run the wand in and out and actually spray you. There's a deodorizer, a power deodorizer, a pre-mist, a blow dryer for your bottom, and energy saver modes, both automatic and manual. So quite a lot of stuff, and it's all controlled by this infrared remote, which emits infrared from here and from here and is picked up on a receiver back here. In fact, back here, there are also lights for each of the subsystems I just mentioned. So let me take you through a typical run, and let's listen to the sounds this thing makes. So the washlet comes with this lovely soft close lid and seat, and you can remove this lid by pulling this out on this side. There's actually a micro switch here that lets the microprocessor inside the unit know whether the lid is up or down, and it detects when you're sitting on the seat by a micro switch right here on this side. The whole unit just slides on and off into a latching bracket you put on when you install it, and you can release that by pressing this little button over here, and then the whole thing can slide off for cleaning or whatever. But let's go through the sounds it makes when you typically use it, and I'm going to use this other cell phone as an additional microphone so we can kind of hear it a little better. But if I press down on this, the first thing that'll happen is the pre-mist. The pump starts. Yeah. So now it's spraying water on the bowl. Actually, what Toto calls e-water, because it's electrolyzed water. Supposedly they run some electric current through it to energize the salts and make the pH a little more acidic so that it cleans better. How much of a gimmick that is, how effective it really is, I don't know. But, it's better than nothing, even though it mostly just sprays the back of the bowl there. And now if you listen, you can hear the fan. That is the regular deodorizer. And what the regular what both deodorizers do is suck air in from this side of the bowl through a little plastic screen that keeps splash from getting into the box fan in there. And this has to be cleaned regularly, apparently, although this one stayed pretty clean these last 2 weeks. And it blows it out right here. And if you open this compartment with a screwdriver, you stick a screwdriver in and pop this open, there's an activated charcoal filter in here is what actually does the stink removal. But that's not mentioned in the manual. But on Reddit, it seems like people get about 3 or 4 years of use out of this, and then apparently you can order a replacement part when it goes. But that's where the business end really is. There's no deodorizer, there's no scent or anything like that. So now, when I get off of this thing, exactly 10 seconds later, the power deodorizer will come on, which essentially means they rev this fan in here way up after 10 seconds for, it's 30 seconds or a minute. I haven't actually timed it, but there. Okay, so now I'm off. And now the power deodorizer is going at 10 seconds later, and this will run for half a minute or so. So those are always the sounds you hear. The pre-wash, the deodorizer fan, and then the main fan. You can turn all these off, and in fact, we have turned off the power deodorizer fan because it makes a lot of noise, especially at night. And, we're not in here pooping at night particularly, or making all that, much heavy business in the late hours. On the side of the washlet, opposite the activated charcoal filter, there's also a water filter that you're supposed to unscrew and clean every 6 months or when the water pressure goes to crap. I should point out that Toto also uses that electrolyzed water, that e-water, when cleaning the wand. In fact, if you have automatic wand cleaning on, which is a feature, about a minute after you go, the wand comes out and gets sprayed with e-water and then retracts. If you turn automatic wand cleaning off, the actions of making the wand, erect and washing it become separate. So if you push the wash the wand button, manual wash the wand button here on the remote, it just sprays water around it but doesn't make it come out. And there's a separate function to make the wand come out and stay out so you can clean it. Supposedly with a soft cloth, you're not supposed to use toilet paper because I guess that's a little abrasive. And having experienced the toilet paper in Japan, I can see why that might be the case. I want to talk to you about power. Hang on. So one of the things I was worried about in the install video was energy usage, because the specs on Amazon say it uses up to 500 watts, which is a lot. And if it's that much, you have to kind of pay attention to what circuit you're plugging it into. But it's nowhere near that. I'll give you the headline, which I mentioned in the other video, is that it's always under 300 watts. And most of the time, it's a lot less than that. But I actually wanted to break that down. So I put a kilowatt meter on here, and I took a bunch of measurements. And I can tell you that when it's off or in an energy saver mode, it uses nothing or 0.3 of a watt. Very, very little, just waiting to wake up again. When it's idle in the seat and the water's already warm and it's just kind of going along waiting for you to come and enjoy it, it oscillates between about 5 and 20 watts. So again, not too much. The seat heater seems to be running a little less than 50 watts, maybe 45 watts by itself. The deodorizer, the wand, and the pump, very little, very hard to measure, a watt or two. That's not a lot. When the dryer is on high temperature, that uses about 150 watts. And the water heater is the big one. That uses about 211 watts. So when you first turn it on and the seat heater's on and the water heater's on, you're up in the 250 range and all that. And, if you also get on it real fast and turn on the dryer, I mean, you can get it up close to 300. But in theory, if I add all these numbers up, it does come into 411 watts if I could turn everything on all at once. So, who knows? Maybe it actually could get up high there, but I've never seen it. Highest it generally is about 250 or a little more. So as far as the dryer, the air dryer, the blow dryer for your bottom, I measured the temperature on that as well. The low is 90 degrees, the medium's 115 degrees, the high is 125 degrees. Those are all in Fahrenheit. If you're overseas, that's 32, 46, and 51 in Celsius. So let's go through the functions on the remote quickly because there are some subtleties. As I said before, that's the infrared transmitter. This is the stop button, stops whatever's going on. This is the button you press all the time. This is the butt washer, and if you push it, this light comes on. I don't know if you can see it. But if you look at the wand, there are 3 emitters on it, and the farthest one back shoots a laser beam of water right at your butt, and this is the one that does this. It's like a doctor's finger going in there. And if you press this again, it switches to the middle emitter on the wand, which is more of a gentle drinking fountain bubbler. So as you press this button, it toggles back and forth between those two experiences. This, of course, is for the ladies. This moves the water to the farthest forward emitter. And it's interesting that if you have butt washing on, the wand actually has to retract all the way and then come back out with the other emitter going to get to this. It doesn't just switch from the rear nozzle, has to go back in and come back out. This is the blow dryer for your bottom. This makes the wand go back and forth in a gently jerking motion, which is quite satisfying. And this, they say, is a pulsar, but it pulses so fast it's more of a swirly experience. Not that I know what a swirly is. And this is the manual wand washing function, which doesn't make the wand come out at all. It just pushes e-water around it. These up and down controls control the force of the pressure of all these settings. And this sets the actual position of the wand, how far it comes out. So this moves the wand back and forth in the bowl. When you get settings you like, you can hold down user 1 or user 2 for 5 seconds and the remote will beep and record those settings. Except it doesn't record very many settings. It just records the water temperature supposedly and the position here and pressure of the wand, which means that if you have the swirly going or the back and forth jerk going, those aren't saved, so every time you come, you have to turn them back on. God, everything I'm saying sounds like a sexual double entendre. On the back are the controls you don't use very often. This is used to set the seat temperature heat, and you can see me cycling from low, medium, high, off. This is the water temperature, low, medium, high, off. This is the blow dryer temperature, low, medium, high, off. The Washlet has energy saver modes. If it's midnight and you happen to go into the bathroom and you want to turn off the system for 60 or 90 minutes, every midnight you can press this button. The Washlet has no real-time clock, so it doesn't know wall clock time at all. So I assume it just has a counter counting down the 86,400 seconds in a day, and when it gets to the second that you press this, it kills the power for 90 minutes. And this enables and disables the auto energy saver, which supposedly looks for periods of time when you're not using it and turns it down. I didn't turn this on for the first few days. It's supposed to take some 7 to 10 days or something to train. Although it actually seems to be working now because I've had it on for a while. So at night, the seat is cold because this. But the great thing about this is when you turn it on, your usage goes down to like 1/3 of a watt. And then this extends the wand for cleaning manually. This turns the whole system off, and then of course if the battery's low, there's a little red LED that comes on here. Battery's low in this remote. I've turned down the lights so you can see the LEDs on this remote. This shadow is the camera, sorry about that. So to turn the main features on and off, like the mister or the deodorizer, you need to put this thing into feature setup mode, which means you have to hold this down for 10 seconds until all the LEDs blink. And now you have to really look at the manual because it's impossible to remember this, and the ways you turn various features on and off are all different. For example, a couple of features involve pressing a button and then this gear icon to confirm. The manual says to push them together, but I found it's easier to press the thing and then while you're pressing the thing, add the confirm gear. It's like a return key. So auto wand clean is like the clock, and this. Turning the automatic energy saver on and off is like the leaf and this. And then others, you just press buttons for 5 seconds. So if I want to turn off the power deodorizer, which we've done, you just hold the seat temperature down for 5 seconds. And then the toilet seat will beep once it hears that. A longer beep is off and a short beep is on. And there are other functions too, of course, the pre-mister, whether beeps are on or off, and you can even lock your personal settings. So I guess that's it. Think I'll go back to fighting with my wife over the seat temperature because I like it warmer than she does, and that's not one of the personal settings you can set. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.